actually had a quick comment about the Katie Porter thing. Um, I saw some of the clips about like the staff stuff, and maybe she dumped a boiling pot of mashed potatoes on her husband or something.
Happens all the
Um,
time.
yeah, but what bothers me is that is not those things. Like, everybody has their private versus public appearance. It's the fact that she went to a news reporter and said, "I don't care about the people that don't vote for me. If you voted for Trump, I don't care about you. Like, you're not good enough to be a constituent." Or
Totally agree.
that was the part that bothered me. And my question about this, Mark, is you said that this doesn't seem that bad to you. Is this a common thing for people to say that we just don't get to look at it very much? Or like
I,
I
I
don't
think that
understand like how you
I,
thought this was not that bad.
I think the Democratic Party in general, and I've been on this for 11 years. The Democratic Party, not everybody, but most too many in elective office and strategists are intellectually and politically uninterested in why Donald Trump won his elections, why MAGA is a movement that got Trump elected twice and almost a third time. They're uninterested in it, and they're hostile about it. And the high point or low point of this was when Hillary Clinton said deplorables. To look down on people and people on this platform. One of the things I'm proudest about at this platform is we've had people come on now since we started who are not loving in love with everything about Donald Trump, but they explain why they supported him because of the press, because of the extreme positions of the Democratic Party on a lot of issues, and the mindset reflected in that answer. And again, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt in the sense that maybe she did misunderstand the question, or maybe she was interpreting it literally as she can win mathematically without winning the support of Trump voters, which is true. You know, give her the benefit of the doubt. But that sneering attitude of "I don't need MAGA support" is all too common, and it's so self-defeating. And again, it applies almost as much, maybe as much, to the media as it does to Democrats. Dan.
I totally agree with Mark. It's always my first thing I say to Democrats who always say I don't understand, why someone would vote for Donald Trump is you need to understand why people support Donald Trump. And only then can you try to win people back versus the idea of like, you'll realize your mistake. To me, one of the things that just made my blood boil and reminded me of who Katie Porter is in that interview. Mark is right. Factually, she's probably correct, right? I can win without getting him. But it's the way she turned her, I think it was probably her staff off camera and was like, that is such a stupid question, essentially. Like, why are you asking me such a, and that like condescending, patronizing, looking down. Like, I do think when people think about how the party has evolved and our attitude toward Trump voters, our attitude to so many, Katie Porter is like at the top of the list of just this highbrow, I'm right, you're wrong, I know better than you. She was in Congress, like I would say this in the last couple of years. And that answer and that whole interview and her facial expressions, and if you haven't read the statement she put out about how she needs to treat her staff, that sounds like it was written by a Harvard law professor, not a human being, so to speak, says everything about her.
Yeah.
Look,
Sean.
Politics at its core is marketing, right? You're trying to get somebody to volunteer, donate, activate, vote. That's politics truly. And the product is either a policy, a ballot initiative, a candidate. That's what you're selling. And so if you think about it in that terms, she's trying to sell herself. Here's why I want to be your governor. And she's basically saying, I don't need these customers. I don't need them. And that's to me, it just shows how you don't get it. At the very least, you should pretend. In the most real sense, you should want that. I anytime I meet somebody, I genuinely want them to understand why they're not conservative, to why they think, and hopefully bring them over at some point, right? Whether it's a social issue on life or on even on guns. Like I honestly believe that my side is right. And I want to engage with people to say, hey, tell me why you believe what you believe. So for her to be so dismissive really says a lot about her approach to the entire job. And that's just fundamentally, you go, do you really want somebody that's who they are?
Yeah. Melissa, thank you for the question. Grateful to you. Thanks
And
for coming
I
on.
do want to keep saying this. I'm really curious how Gavin Newsom handles this, because if she's the governor and he's running for president, I think she's a thorn in his side. I don't think she's a good partner for him. if he's running.
Yeah.
She's not a good partner. She poured scalding water over her husband's head. Do you think she's going to be a good partner to Gavin?
I just think she's going to want to be super progressive. She's going to like be super confrontational within the party. And that's a headache. If your hometown governor, the person who followed you, is constantly causing headlines that you don't want to talk about.
Yep.
Henning,
By the way,
well,
DeCruz, you're right. I'm sorry. He noted in the chat, she's put scalding potatoes on his head, not water.
Don't read this chat.
I know.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.